Good day to you. Hi, guys. Yay. Okay, I've got you pulled up. Look, I'm getting faster at this. Hi. Hello, hello, hello. I am so excited to talk to you today because we're going to spend 20 minutes together here and talk about manipulation. Can I get an amen? Have you ever been in a Christian situation where you have been manipulated? People are controlling, domineering, tricky. Not cool, man. Manipulation. It's a hot topic. Super hot topic. This would be like you have ever felt used, you have felt trapped, you have felt um, misunderstood, chronically misunderstood. It's something to feel misunderstood for a minute a day, but it's quite a different thing to feel chronically misunderstood. Here's what we're talking about today. Okay, we're going to talk about how to dismantle manipulation from anyone who could be manipulating. Hi, Lisa! And we're going to talk about the manipulation you might be part of that you don't realize. And so this is a fatty topic. Somebody say, fatty. This is a big topic. And I can tell you what, my life before understanding freedom from manipulation felt chaotic and anxious and fairly out of control. And my life after getting free from the hooks of manipulation feels peaceful. And my problems are mine and grounded. I feel grounded. I know where I'm going and I can contribute something to the world that takes more than a day. And how many of you know that any great thing you're going to give to the world takes more than a day? But if you're getting jerked around, you can't do 2 days in a row of contributing something to the world. Your life must belong to you if you're going to really contribute something to the world. Okay. Or to your family or to anywhere. I'm going to move this clip. This bothers me. This is funny. Being here, I know. It's so funny. I had to stop talking about it. I'm getting there, though. That's why I went live for 30 days, so I could learn how to not talk about my experience of being live while we're live. All right. Yo, here's the deal. Here is the deal. In the beginning of this 30 days, we talked about, I want you to go watch the first couple if you haven't. We talked about having who you are and what you need outsourced to other situations and people. If my finances would just settle down, I would be okay. If my husband liked me, I would be okay. If my kids would behave, I would be okay. If they had a school that we were happy with, I would be okay. I'm drawing a school. It's this silly picture. If I was 30 pounds lighter, I would be okay. And let's do one more. If my boss was kind, I'm going to put an exclamation point for the boss, I would be okay. What has happened in our lives, if we feel chaotic, out of control, insecure, or any of those things chronically, is that we've outsourced the love in us, knowing who we are and living that out, to these things. And the way out of manipulation is that we bring getting these needs met in-house, which I would call wholeness. That I don't need the kids to behave differently for me to use self-control and to present calm, kind, firm. I don't need them to be at a better school for me to be confident of what's going to happen in their story and in their life and what God is doing and their safety and security. I don't need to lose 30 pounds before I love myself and enjoy this day as I am. I don't need my boss to be kinder to me before I show up at work the way that is in line with my integrity. I don't need the finances to settle down or to grow my bank account before I feel secure in God's provision and what I'm doing. And I don't need my husband to like me or understand me before I can bring love to him. Yeah, this is what we're talking about. Jesus said, the enemy has come to me, but he has nothing in me. And I take that to mean the enemy comes with his hooks, his bait, but there's no landing place for it. When I was divorced, going through that awful divorce, horrendous, y'all. It was so horrendous. I was shocked. I felt betrayed. I was completely overwhelmed by being a single parent. All of my pain was exposed and at the surface. And what I needed, or so I thought, was for my guy to see how I felt and how valid it was and to come fight for me. And instead of that happening, because we were in a horrendous divorce and he was also coping, scared, doing his best to survive it, someone else came and offered that to me. A dude came and offered to me, I see you. What you're feeling makes sense and it's not your fault, and I'm here to help. And how many of you know when that happened, because my gaping need was so big for being understood and validated and loved, that I took that bait? I was like, this strong man who has a job, sees what I'm going through, cares about how it has felt to me this entire marriage. He understands where I'm coming from, and he's validating how I feel and how much sense it makes, and he's willing to come help. Done, baby. Sometimes that happens and we get to grow and become whole because we realize I gave you all that power, but I need to take the power back to be whole, not to not love you, just to be whole in loving you. That would be good. But sometimes that happens and it's a manipulation. So manipulation is not a person, it's a pattern, and it is the pattern our enemy uses against us. And the enemy uses manipulation against us by making us manipulative and by making us the victim of manipulated. We are manipulated. You can be on either side. One party in that connection between that guy and me, the second husband. How many of you know I married that man? He came and he said, I'll understand you, love you, see you, fight for you. And I said, good. That's what I need. That's what I needed all this time. Thank you so very much. And I gave my life to him. That man is not the enemy. It was the fact that we were willing to make a trade below the surface. And the trade below the surface for him was, I'll have access to your beautiful life, your beautiful kids, and your finances. And for me, the trade was, I'll have access to your validation, your understanding, and your emotions. We made a trade, y'all. Trading is from the pit. So when Jesus said, the enemy has come to me to wreck this mission, to wreck me, but he has nothing in me, what it means is I don't make any trades. There's nothing he has that I'm willing to give me for. And there's nothing I'm willing to give to get anything I think I need. Oh, I'm feeling like I'm on a bit of a soapbox this morning. I've already been coaching this morning since 7:30 a.m. and it's on. How many of you, like, when you get in your passion lane, you're like, oh, it's on. I'm showing up today. I'm a little bit spicy. I've had some coffee. I've had some conversations. My kids are rocking their schoolwork out there and their morning chores. Let's go. I am feeling the joy and the passion of living whole from in here when I talk about manipulation. Trades is where manipulation comes from. Anything that I need from someone else is something I'm willing to trade for because I need it. And that's not your fault. I'm also willing to offer things to people to get what I need. That is manipulation on my side. So me, as a recovering people pleaser, I know now, since I needed people to be happy with me, I was willing to do a bunch of stuff to keep them from being angry, to make them say that I'm doing great, to prove to them who I am and what I'm about, so that I could have those kudos and their light shining on me of who they thought I was. Or, like I said, them not being angry at me. So I was willing to make trades. I did the dishes on the schedule my husband saw fit instead of doing it when it worked well for me, because I needed him to think I was a wife who was willing to show up for everybody and a mother who cared. See, I needed something. If I didn't need him to think that I was a wife who cared about everybody and who showed up for their kids, I am that, but I don't need him to think that. Then I'll do the dishes when it works in the flow of my day that works really well for me, and we can have a conversation about that. I might even adjust it a little bit to help do it in a way that works better for him. But he could have heard my heart about, hey, at 10 a.m., when the kids are already into their activities and I've already got my Bible study in and we've all eaten and put it all away, that's a really good moment for me to bang out the dishes and listen to a sermon, and I just love it. But I couldn't calmly just say that to him, because if he doesn't see me doing the dishes at the right time, he'll think I'm not here for him or them. So I can't just calmly tell him what works best for me and ask how he's experiencing that. Would it mean a lot to you if I changed the time? Because I probably could if it meant that much, but tell me what that means. Oh, you feel dropped when it's not done in the morning. But I'm not dropping you. I'm actually doing it at 10. Could we work something else out? Maybe we could do it at night together. There's all kinds of possibilities for creative solutions. So if you are willing to make a trade to get anything that you need, you are prone to being manipulated and you are prone to manipulating. And if people are working you over right now, like if you're spinning your wheels trying to fix things for kids, you'll know this because you'll feel the weight, the burden of keeping people from getting mad or keeping them happy with you. If you feel that weight in any place, or there are ways that someone could pull the rug out from under you right now. Like someone else uses your debit card and they've been prone to go spend $2,000 randomly without your knowledge. Then you are in a situation where you are prone to being manipulated. This is how you know. And you're prone to manipulating to keep that from happening. If you are picking up what I'm putting down, say prone in the chat. If I need something and I don't have a way to meet that need myself, so I've outsourced it, and I've outsourced it to someone unreliable, unpredictable, and not trustworthy based on history, not based on who they are, based on the history, then I am prone to manipulating, and I'm prone to being manipulated. And the key and the answer for this, Lisa, prone, let's go. The key is, I'm just glad the chat is working. Thank you so much for saying that. To get these needs met in-house. I know this incredible ministry. I haven't been tracking with them for a while, so take this with a grain of salt, but they're called Moral Revolution. And this blew my mind when I learned it. If someone is morally stepping outside of the boundaries of their integrity, like using pornography or having emotional connections outside their marriage, it is because they have an unmet need inside them that they haven't taken care of or paid attention to. And so the key to purity and the key to not being manipulated or manipulatable is recognizing what I need and making sure I meet those needs in a healthy way. Here's an example. I'm a rager. I can have a hot temper and I can make it about everybody else. When I get to the point where I feel like I'm not okay, my temptation and my blueprint from when I was a tiny little kid is to make that about everybody else and to go rant at people. Isn't that cute? Now, I know this about me, and I know that what it means, the need that's not met, that makes me go do a thing that isn't okay, that makes me blame somebody else or need something from them, is I need to go running. How many in here know that you need to go running? Some of you are runners and some are not. We don't all need to run. We all need to do something. I haven't been running and I haven't been sleeping. So my people are prone to having the rug pulled out from under them of feeling safe around me when I am not getting what I need. And here's what's really sad. If my kids rely on me, if they outsource the need of feeling emotionally safe, which they should because they're kids, and they rely on me for emotional safety, and I'm prone to rage and rant at them when I don't get what I need. Are you seeing how it works? Now they need to manipulate, tiptoe around. Manipulate just means change the situation. They got to change themselves so that I don't get mad at them. Now I'm raising manipulators. And I'm manipulating because I'm not getting what I need. So I want to change them because I'm not going to be okay unless they act different. It's as innocent as this, folks. It's as innocent as that, the beginning of this. And the responsibility we have to take to heal this is I need to know what I need and I need to meet those needs so it's not on somebody else. Can I get an amen? We're going to add a layer of emotional manipulation right now because this is my wheelhouse and the space that we're in here is creating emotional safety in homes that have been emotionally unsafe. That's my jam all day long. Because if you're emotionally safe and you can be connected, and inside connection is everything you need in your family. Nothing is missing in that place. So let's take it one step further. I don't need to be understood. Hannah, hi, good morning. I didn't know you were here. I saw eyeballs, but I couldn't see who they were. I have given up the need for anyone to understand why I did what I did. This is the big one, I think, for most of us, especially as women. When I don't do the dishes first thing in the morning and hubby feels like I'm not there for everybody, I so desperately wanted him to understand why I did that and to see my good motives and sign off on them. So I have to manipulate the situation until I feel understood. I got to get into long conversations. I got to explain it again. I got to put my feelings in front of him and ask him, what are you hearing? Do you care about how this feels? Please care about how this feels. And it becomes about so much more than what time do I do the dishes, because if I'm not understood by him, I'm not going to be okay. If he sees me wrong, we're not going to be okay. When I needed him to understand me, I couldn't love him. When I needed him to understand me and sign off on my good motives and sign off on my good character, I wasn't free to love him because I was trying to get him to do something all the time. When I need something from you, I can't love you. Is anybody tracking what I'm saying? I couldn't treat him as a free agent who's bringing to the table exactly what he wants to bring to the table and honoring that and just being grateful for it and receiving it. When I needed him to understand me, because suddenly what he's bringing to the table, if it's not validation, is not enough. And love celebrates the freedom of others and appreciates what people contribute. It makes no demands. God makes no demands of us, which is a very liberating thought. I'm not obligated to love him, obey him, serve him, treasure him. I'm not obligated to give him my devotion or attention or to listen to what he says and do it. Which means it's on me if I do not. And he, being the most humble being in the universe, celebrates my offering when I bring it. Have you ever worshiped the Lord and felt like he was like, well, if only you would do this the rest of the day? No, he meets you there. He rewards every part we give. And we get to live that way with our people. We get to live that way with our boss. We get to live that way with our kids. We get to live that way with our spouses. We get to live that way with our in-laws. I am so celebrating what you brought to the table. And I came to bring things to the table, not to make a demand on you. And intimacy comes from two people bringing freely what they have to the table as an offering and celebrating what the other person brought. Is anybody picking up what I am putting down? And when you're at a distance and you're celebrating what each person brought, that increases your capacity to bring more. And bringing more creates more closeness. What a codependent does, or a people pleaser does, is gets up close with people who aren't bringing more and then demands that they bring more because this is very scary without you bringing more. Boundaries means I celebrate only what you bring and I don't demand anything else. And I'm joyful to bring what I do have, and it's appropriate for the level of trust that we've built. And from there, you could build any level of closeness that you two want to build. Because as I am responsible to celebrate you and what you bring, and to show up with what I brought, safety and trust and joy, gratitude, validation, teamwork, we can go anywhere together. Now, if I bring validation, teamwork, joy, and appreciation, and you bring, why don't you get me? You bring, how come you don't see how you could love me better? How many of you know I'm going to do this from back here? Because I'm not going to keep pouring my life into something that's empty. It's just going to fall out the bottom. So boundaries means I invest where it's fruitful. I don't demand more from you. I give less from me because my life is mine to invest and create fruitfulness. That's what God called me to. I hope this is helpful. We're just going to keep talking for the next 7 days about all these angles of the truth that you are whole in Christ emotionally, and your emotional wholeness in Christ can reproduce emotional wholeness in your whole family system, even if your kids are already grown or you're already divorced. I want to tell you a report. My husband and I have been split since March 2020. And last night we had a family meeting with our 3 kids, and we got down to some core battles they are experiencing in their hearts that they put on the table with both of us there so we could team up, pray for them, be transparent together, and everybody on the same page about these battles and how they affect our day-to-day life and what our plan is to help these kids fight forward and be whole. This is the man I thought was borderline personality disorder or narcissistic personality disorder who had a restraining order against him. Because emotional wholeness hit the scene because Christ got a hold of my blueprint and I surrendered it to him in these ways. Wholeness, love flooded the scene, and everybody has had an invitation to join me in that, and this is what we're doing now. We didn't even have a meeting like that when we were married. It was glorious. And I got to give him a hug at the end, and that was glorious as well. I want to tell you that you can't fix your family, but God can. Your job is to line up with his blueprint of relating. Self-control, personal responsibility, investing where it makes sense to produce fruit. Not needing anything because you've taken responsibility for your heart, your mind, your thoughts, your feelings. Not needing anything from other people. Consistently contributing to a joyful connection, celebrating everything that comes your way. This is how he relates. Honoring everybody's freedom. Constantly creating an invitation for people to come into more joy with him. That's all he has for you is more joy. The invitation is always there. When you learn to relate his way, he floods the situation. And when he does that, you will quickly find out there was nothing you could have done to fix it in the first place. You line up with him and he does all the heavy lifting. This is so exciting. Is this exciting to you? If this is exciting to you and you're watching a replay, can you please comment below the video, exciting? If this is overwhelming to you because you know that it's true, but you don't know where to start or how to become this, please write overwhelming. And if it's both, please write both. If you're watching the replay, I'm giving you an assignment. Put a comment below this video in circle. Okay, baby, I'll be right there. Exciting or overwhelming or both. I would love to help you go forward. Okay, I will see you on Monday. I'm going to post videos tomorrow and Sunday, and I'll see you back live here on Monday. I love you. You're so brave.